Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank both of you for your many years of distinguished service. General Alexander, we'll miss you and have enjoyed working with you. Admiral Haney, what is your assessment of Russian and Chinese reliance on nuclear weapons? And specifically, do you think that those countries are more likely to increase or decrease their reliance on nuclear weapon systems as a deterrent in the coming years?
Senator, clearly we monitor closely developments in those countries regarding their nuclear arsenals. It is clear to me that both of those countries have been involved, and they have publicly announced their modernization programs and some of their strategies in a variety of their legs of their strategic nuclear capability. I will not speculate in terms of the future, but clearly in terms of what we've seen to date, we have seen a definite emphasis of having credible capability by both countries mentioned.
And if, one thing I'd like to know is how any of that changes, both with regard to those countries and possibly other countries, if we, as the United States, proceed with any plan to draw down our strategic weapons below the New START levels. How is that likely to deter other countries from increasing their own reliance on nuclear weapons, on either increasing or modernizing their nuclear weapons systems? And specifically, I'd like to know what, if any, evidence exists to suggest that our drawdown of our strategic weapons would have that kind of impact.
Senator, first I would say that it's very important from my perspective that we continue to work to have a credible, safe, secure, and effective deterrent. And those actions within themselves are what we are about and what we're on a journey of doing, including our own modernization programs as discussed earlier during the hearing. The connective tissue in terms of how other countries look at us, both from a deterrence and assurance perspective, are very important. But I think as they look at us today, they see us working very hard to ensure each part of our strategic deterrent is being cared for and that are being operated in a proper manner. And even as we go down to the agreed upon treaty limits for New START treaty, each warhead to systems of systems that are associated with that continue to remain a very effective arsenal to support our deterrence needs for the future. Going beyond those limits will require negotiations and verification mechanisms, and we'll have to look at the whole thing, including tactical nukes.
But do we have any historical precedent that suggests that as we draw down our systems, our nuclear arsenals, is there anything in our history, any historical evidence to suggest that as we do that, other countries are less likely to be developing, increasing, or modernizing theirs? You know, and that would include consideration of countries like Iran or North Korea. In recent years, we have drawn ours down, and so on what basis could we conclude that continuing to draw ours down below the New START levels would likely deter other countries from continuing to move forward with their systems?
Well, the first amount of evidence really shows the amount of nuclear stockpile that has been reduced both from the United States of America and from Russia in terms of treaties that have been established over the years, including the New START treaty. Those are...
but beyond Russia, can you point to anywhere else where that's had a deterrent effect on other countries?
I won't at this point try to give a thesis that connects the dots there, because the intent of each and every country is their own internal business. And I would say that countries will look at not just the drawdown, they will look at what's in their strategic interests, and they will develop capability across various domains, including nuclear, to satisfy their needs.
Okay, okay. If we don't have a thesis on that, we don't have any evidence either. That does concern me for the additional reason that even with Russia, many of us here are very concerned with the fact that there have been reported violations by Russia of the INF Treaty, dating all the way back to 2008. And so I'm interested in inquiring into your views based on your perspective as the commander of our strategic forces as to what the consequences are to our own national security when we have entered into a nuclear weapons agreement with a country, Russia, that's in violation of that agreement. Don't you think that represents something of a threat to our national security?
Senator, I think not just my command, U.S. Strategic Command, but our whole of government takes very seriously the treaties that are in place, and give that a lot of scrutiny in terms of things. The treaties that we have, such as New START Treaty, the goodness in those is a trust but verify, and the verification piece is very important. When I look at what particular goodness in the New START Treaty is, it allows for more transparency, and just the number of verification looks both sides have per year, and they are ongoing today, even as we work toward those New START Treaty limits. Okay.
I appreciate your response. I'd like to submit some more questions to you in writing, but I'd just like to leave you with the thought that I am very concerned, and I believe I'm not alone in this, in saying that it's distressing to me that we could be talking seriously about drawing down our potential in this area even below New START levels, without evidence that doing so is going to deter other countries from developing, increasing, modernizing their own forces. I really would like to see some evidence as to why we should believe that. And that evidence certainly should extend beyond an indication that there has been some reduction by Russia, especially when Russia tends not to comply with its own obligations. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Lee. Senator King.